want to take a few minutes to discuss with you the upcoming policy regarding pretext stops. I'll not take too much of your time, but I feel it's important that you hear it directly from me, your chief, about what this policy does, and as importantly, what it does not do. I believe it's critical that we have a policy that clearly defines what constitutes a pretext stop, and under what circumstances such pretext stops are authorized, and the underlying rationale of why they are important. Many have asked why the department is implementing a pretext stop policy for conduct that has been found lawful by the highest courts in the land. Others have petitioned for the elimination of the use of pretext stops, believing they unfairly impact our most disadvantaged communities, often involving persons of color. I'm here to give you the straight story and to reassure you that this policy is not the end of proactive policing. Rather, this policy clearly states when pretext stops are permitted. Unlike many other law enforcement agencies that espouse that they prohibit pretext stops, this policy supports the use of pretext stops of individuals involved in minor traffic and other violations that you would not normally cite, whenever you have additional information that that individual may be involved in a more serious criminal offense. Police work involves a tremendous amount of discretion. You are given the responsibility of exercising that discretion wisely and justly. The decision to initiate a vehicle or pedestrian stop should be based on the seriousness of the offense and the individual officer's knowledge of local crime information, as well as their expertise and experience. Clearly, conducting a stop solely on an individual's race or ethnicity is prohibited by law and department policy. To be clear, under this new policy, there is no blanket prohibition on stops, whether for straight vehicle code violations that impact public safety or as a pretext to investigate a more serious criminal offense, such as DUI, robbery, firearms violations, human trafficking, burglary, and auto theft. Service to our communities mean that you continue to be proactive as you patrol our communities each day. Critical to the safety of our communities is your work enforcing traffic laws, meant to reduce collisions, identify those responsible for hit-and-run collisions, and engaging in work that results in fewer injuries and fatalities. To make Los Angeles a safer city, it is important that you continue to initiate proactive pretext stops to investigate serious criminal offenses, as well as stops based on reasonable suspicion that a person is committing, about to commit, or has committed a crime. There are those who believe we conduct pretext stops and pedestrian stops as fishing expeditions. This perception is built in part given the frequency of stops for minor equipment or traffic violations resulting in searches and other more invasive actions with ultimately no enforcement action taken. An example of this is stops involving windshield obstructions or no front license plates. While the law allows pretext stops in these instances, the department's pretext stop policy requires that you identify what additional information you have that the individual may be involved in more serious criminal conduct. However, important to remember is the additional information required does not need to amount to reasonable suspicion of a separate offense. In closing, I recognize we ask you to patrol our streets to deter crime, while also attempting to identify those engaged in criminal conduct. Proactive pretext stops are a critical ingredient. I believe this policy demonstrates our commitment to public safety, including the ability to conduct pretext stops based on additional information beyond a minor traffic violation, allowing the community to see that we're fishing with a hook and not a net. There will be more important information to come, including training and examples of scenarios the pretext stop policy supports, as well as specific instances prohibited by the policy. Thank you for the hard work you're doing each day. I'm proud of your dedication and professionalism, and I appreciate your commitment to protect and to serve.